Hi, I am Mrs. Musser, and this is
Addison.
We are going to read Chapter 12, called Keep Calm and Focus. Class, as you know, today we are having a dress rehearsal for the Winter Wonderland show. Mrs. Brisbane said later in the morning. Dress rehearsal? Not only did I not know we were having one, I didn't know what a dress rehearsal was. Miss Lark will take us into the gym so we can practice on stage. We'll take all our props with us, Mrs. Brisbane explained. Rolling Rosie raised her hand. How can it be a dress rehearsal? We girls aren't wearing white, and we haven't finished decorating our snowflakes. I know, Mrs. Brisbane said, but at least we can try the song on the stage, and you can wear your snowflakes as they are. We'll finish decorating them this afternoon. Daniel, are you ready to play the piano? Daniel looked pleased as he said, Yes, Miss Brisbane, I practiced this weekend. Yes, he did, I squeaked. Everybody giggled. Then Miss Brisbane had my classmates line up. They took their snowflakes, bells, towels, and ears with them. Just as she reached to the open door, forgetful Phoebe said, Oh, we forgot Humphrey and Og. For someone who can be forgetful, Phoebe was good at remembering important things, like us. Humphrey and Og are staying here, Mrs. Brisbane told her. But then they won't get to see us on stage, Phoebe protested. Daniel looked truly upset. I don't know if I can play without Humphrey, he said. He helped me play the song. Oh dear, Miss Brisbane said. I want Humphrey and Og to see us, Thomas said. After all, they saw us learn the songs and make our costumes. They should be there, Holly added. Suddenly, the class was abuzz with my friends begging Mrs. Brisbane to bring us along. But what will we do with them? Mrs. Brisbane asked. Daniel had a suggestion. We can put them on top of the piano. That's where Humphrey was at my house. Please, please, my friends begged. Mrs. Brisbane shook her head, which was bad. But then she smiled, which was good. Oh, I guess it won't hurt, she said, but let's be careful with them. Then she carefully put my cage and Og's tank on the book cart she keeps in the room. Who's going to push? She asked. Of course, every single student wanted to push. Mrs. Brisbane chose Phoebe because it was her idea. Phoebe gave us a nice easy ride down the hallways of Longfellow School, right past Mr. Morale's office. He was standing in the doorway as we approached. Whoa, looks like a parade, he said. Mr. Morales was wearing a tie with little stars on it. We're on our way to dress rehearsal, Mrs. Brisbane explained. And what are Humphrey and Og going to do? He asked. They'll be the audience, Sophie said. Mr. Morales leaned down to look in my cage. I hope you like the show. I'm positive that I will, I squeaked back. As we rolled down some more, I heard a familiar voice say, Hi, Humphrey Dumpty. That was AJ, one of my favorite friends from last year. He was the first human to give me a nickname. And then we arrived. The gym is huge. I was only there once before and hadn't even noticed that there was a stage. Miss Lark was waiting there for us. When Phoebe rolled the cart past her, Miss Lark looked shocked. What are they doing here? She asked. The children wanted to bring them, and I thought it couldn't hurt, said Miss Brisbane. I don't think it's a good idea. Miss Lark was looking pale. You won't even know they're here, Mrs. Brisbane said. Oh, look at the stage, Harry shouted. What a sight. The back wall of the stage was all white with bright green pine trees made out of paper. In front of that was a low fence with snow on top. I guess it wasn't real snow because it was warm in the gym and snow would melt. But it looked hamsterific. The piano was at one side of the stage. Miss Brisbane helped Phoebe put my cage and Og's tank on top. Miss Lark's keyboard was on the opposite side of the stage on a stand. All right, class, let's get organized. Put on your costumes quickly. Miss Lark looked around nervously. There was a lot of talking, giggling, and jingle-jangling as the girls put on their snowflakes, and the boys held their jingle bells as they put on their tails and ears. "Take your places," Miss Lark said. It took a while, but they managed to get lined up with the boys on the sides so they couldn't be seen by the audience. There wasn't an audience yet, except for Og and me. The girls lined up in the center of the stage. "Okay, so first the girls will begin the snowflake song. As soon as they finish, I'll signal you, Daniel. You start playing the introduction to Jingle Bells. Then the boys prance on stage singing," Miss Lark explained. "And then the girls will sing a chorus of the snowflake song while the boys are still singing Jingle Bells," she said. It sounded confusing to me, but I knew what Miss Lark wanted. I only hoped my classmates knew too. Miss Lark stood at the keyboard and raised her hand. "1, 2, 3, Miss Lark said, and the music began. Then the most amazing thing happened. The girls twirled around, spinning like snowflakes in a flurry. That was one of my spelling words, remember? The tinfoil on their costumes twinkled like stars. Miss Brisbane was right. They didn't need glitter.
No two snowflakes are the same, though they are lacy white. No two snowflakes are alike, almost, but not quite. Each one is special. That is true, just like me and you."
Even though they weren't wearing white, I thought the girls looked wonderful whirling like snowflakes across the stage. "And 1, 2, 3, Mrs. Lark said, "Go, Daniel." She pointed at the piano. I saw a look of panic on Daniel's face, so I was relieved when he started to play Jingle Bells. With each note he hit, my heart went thump, thump, thump. But I didn't have anything to worry about. This time Daniel hit all the right notes. The boys came prancing in from both sides of the stage. Bells were jingling and the boys looked a lot like horses. I loved it when they started to sing.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride on one horse open sleigh. Hey!
I didn't love it when I noticed that Joey wasn't singing along.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride on one horse open sleigh.
I have to admit, I wasn't prepared for what happened next. Miss Lark pointed at Joey, and Joey let out an ear-splitting "Meow!" So that was Mrs. Brisbane's idea. It was very fine whiny, and he repeated it at the end of the next verse. The girls started twirling again and sang their song at the same time the boys sang their song. Instead of sounding mixed up and confusing, it sounded great. There were a few teeny tiny problems though. The swirling snowflakes got a little carried away. I think Be Careful Kelsey imagined that she was dancing in the Nutcracker and whirled right into Rolling Rosie's wheelchair. Rosie spun into Phoebe, and well, let's just say instead of twirling, the snowflakes were stumbling across the stage. Meanwhile, the boys pranced like frisky horses, until Slow Down Simon took a wrong turn, and the line of boys toppled like a row of falling dominoes. "Stop!" Miss Lark shouted. She stopped playing her keyboard, but Daniel was concentrating so hard on his playing, he didn't even notice. He kept on jingling all the way. When the jingling, jangling, twirling, swirling, stumbling, tumbling stopped, Miss Lark asked, "Is everyone okay?" My classmates all nodded. That was a big relief. "You were doing very well," Miss Lark said. "Just stay calm and focus on what you're doing." "You can do it," I squeaked. "Boing, boing," Og agreed. "Miss Lark, we'll work really hard," Sophie said. "Won't we, everybody?" We did well in rehearsal and our costumes look so good. I know we can do it. I think if we all pull together and... Thank you, Sophie, Miss Lark interrupted. Not that I blamed her. Sophie did tend to, well, talk a lot. Joey, you were great, Miss Lark said. You made the song so much better. Joey's smile filled his whole face. We'll practice one more time before the program, Miss Lark said. But I need you to focus, she added. Oh, and Sophie, Mrs. Brisbane will talk to you later. I was a little worried that Sophie was in trouble for talking again. Then right before Phoebe wheeled us back to room 26, Daniel leaned in close to my cage and said, Thank you, Humphrey. You're welcome, Daniel, I squeaked back. You're my lucky charm, he said. You make me play better. I know he meant it as a compliment, but I wish I could tell him that he didn't need a lucky charm or a magic backpack to play better. He played better because he practiced. Humphrey's Winter Wonderings. If a horse lived next door to you, would he be your neighbor?